Oh, Miss Katie, let's get this photo of Jazz and Meg edited to perfection. This is such a cute photo. I'm going to turn up my brightness here so I can see really well. Oh, girls. Okay, so we're going to go to the bottom left corner, share, and then scroll all the way down to edit in Lightroom. Come on now. Sometimes it takes a second. It's been taking a second for Lightroom to open up the past couple of days. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got this open, I'm going to go to my presets over here and tap main character energy. So this preset initially has a very saturated background, and I do that because I like to take it back down. Like I like to kind of overdo it and then bring it back down, right? So clearly when you overdo it, everything in the background is super, super green, and the girls look actually good the way that they are right there. But the background is kind of what's oversaturated here. So the main character energy preset comes with 3 masks, which are found right here. The masks are in that circle with the dotted line around it. It would mask a sky, which is, there's nothing in the sky, so that's why this is not showing anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. And it would also mask your subject. And let's see, so there we go. Background and subject. So these are 2 different masks that light up when I tap them. So the first mask I'm going to work on is the background mask, which is the one that is a little too oversaturated. So I'm going to go to color, and I'm going to bring the saturation back down to like a reasonable amount. Yes, that's much more reasonable. Okay, and I'm going to hit the check mark right here, and I'm going to just hit this blur button and see what we can do about this. Sometimes, oh yeah, that looks really nice. It just blurs the background enough that it gives you a little bit more of depth of field, so you can see. So everything isn't all in focus right here. Just kind of helps the girls pop off the page a little bit more. So I'm going to hit check mark there. I'm going to go back to the masks. I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to hit the brush. And I'm going to look at how big my brush is. So on the left side, I'm going to tap this 10 button, and I'm going to see what size I want my brush to be. Probably around like right here, I think. And so this next side, or this next button down, is the feathering. So like how gradually you want the edge of your brush to show up. Like this would be just a very hard edge brush, and this is a nice feathered brush. Over here, it's this is your transparency, your opacity. Well, I guess they call it flow. Up at the top, you can see how much, basically like how much ink is going to flow onto the page. How much of whatever we're changing about this brush is going to flow onto the page. So I want everything. I want full force. So I'm going to hit I'm going to just tap outside there, and I'm going to brush down here just like this. I don't want it to touch the girls at all, but I want to go to detail, and I want to take the sharpness all the way down on that. Maybe not all the way down, because you don't want to make like this weird line, but like significantly down, just to give the effect of the girls being what's really in focus, right? And so not only am I going to turn the sharpness way down, but I'm also going to turn the light down on it, so that, because your eye is kind of naturally in a photo drawn to what is the brightest part of the photo, like what's the brightest thing in the photo. And so typically, and some, rules are meant to be broken, but typically the brightest thing in a photo, it should be the subject, what you want, your people to be looking at. So I'm clicking back on this mask of the background because there's an exclamation point, and I'm not sure why. Oh, up in the left hand corner, it says update AI edits. So I'm going to tap that. This is a new thing that it's been asking you to update AI edits, which I think AI is just like the blur in the background is what they're considering AI. Okay, so I'm going to hit the check mark in the bottom right. And let's see, that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go back to the mask of just the girls, and I'm going to work on this a little bit. I'm going to tap the effects, bring up the clarity just a little bit more. But see, if you bring it up really far, it kind of makes them look like, and they're not, but it kind of makes them look dirty. It makes them look very contrasted. It makes them look very defined, which we want that because we want the fur definition, but we don't want it to look dirty. So I like to just have some good definition in there. I'm going to tap on detail. Yeah, they're nice and sharp. That looks really good. Okay, last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom way in on their beautiful faces. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Okay, and I'm going to tap the mask button again, tap the plus sign, and tap the brush. And I'm going to change the size of my brush way down like this. And I'm going to paint on their eyes. And I'm using 2 fingers to like slide the photo around right now and zoom in. There we go. And then 1 finger to paint on the eyeballs. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to tap light and I'm going to bring up the shadows. Pretty good there, like this. And then I'm going to go to effects and bring up the clarity and go to details, bring up the sharpness. And I'm going to go back to light and I'm going to bring the exposure up just a little bit and the contrast up just a little bit. So it might look kind of ridiculous and we might have to back it down a little bit because sometimes it looks overdone. Let's see. Before, so I'm just tapping on the screen to hold and look at the before and then after. I kind of need that brush to be off of her eye. Let's see, before, after. Well, I think it actually looks pretty good. Okay, so I think there we go. Here's your base photo. Here's your before and your after. Okay, so I'm going to hit the save button in the top right, save it to my device. Very good. So now it should be in my photos over here. Should be popping in any second now. Maybe. Maybe not. Why didn't it save? It says a copy has been saved. Did it save at the end? There we go. Okay. So now that we have this, I'm going to hit the share button in the bottom left. Hi, Candy. Come here, little girl. Okay, and then edit in Lightroom. So this is opening up the exported version of that photo that we just did. So there are no adjustments made on this photo. So now I'm going to go to presets in the bottom left and I'm going to tap Golden Hour Walkies and I'm going to tap the check mark. So there's this and there's this. And we have a little bit of work to do, but I think it's going to look really good. Okay. So let's tap on the masks and hit the plus sign and select subject. And I'm going to go to effects and I'm going to turn down the clarity on these girls. They're just a little too sharp. I like sharp, but I don't want it to be hard to look at, if that makes sense. Okay. So turning down the clarity on the girls a little, hit the check mark. And let's see, before and after again. That looks good. I'm going to just see what happens if I add more blur to the background. Yeah, I like it. They pop off the page even more. All right, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to hit the mask again. I have to do update AI edits, it says, because I saw that little triangle with the exclamation point in it. Okay, so I'm going to hit the plus sign and I'm going to hit the brush. And I'm going to go to the 7 and I'm going to make the brush bigger. And I'm going to kind of like work this area again because there's kind of a hard line there. So I'm going to go to light and just turn the highlights down because I really just want to like blend these things together now. That like hard line and the rest of the ground. And I'm going to go to detail and I'm going to go to sharpness and bring sharpness down on that mask. Yeah, I don't want there to be like a hard line of not sharp and kind of dark stuff. Okay. Go there, and then I'm going to go to light again. Oops, I'm going to go to that mask. Yep, there we go. Then go to light, because the only part of this that I want to change is on the mask. I'm going to just brighten up the shadows just a little bit down on that bottom part of the mask. Maybe even bring up the exposure just a little bit so that it doesn't make such a hard line difference. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to tap the masking and I'm going to tap the plus sign and I'm going to select the background. And I'm going to go to detail and I'm going to take the sharpness down a little bit on the background, not too much. I just like, I'm looking at those leaves. Those leaves are very, very sharp and pretty crispy. And we want that, but not to the point where it's distracting. Hi, Milo. Thank you so much. You're helping me. I appreciate that. Okay, I got a phone call right in the middle of that, so I'm going to step back into this. Sorry. So we are on the mask of the background that we just made, and we have reduced the sharpness a little bit. The next thing that I want to do is go over to the light, and I want to bring up the shadows on the background. What happens if I go extreme? There's the shadows big time on the dark side. Do I like that? Or do I like it lighter like this? I actually kind of like it darker. I was planning on bringing the shadows up, but I kind of like it darker over here. See what happens if we bring the background exposure up or down. I kind of just liked it where it was, right about here. And then I'm going to go over to color. I'm going to see on the color temperature. The background looked very like bluey green, which is nice. And I think we kind of have that in the original edited photo right here, that bluey greeny color. But I kind of want to take the background a little bit more golden for this Golden Hour Walkies preset. Let's see. What happens if we just go to the extremes? There we go. Okay, so the only thing I really don't like about this is the leaves in the front of the photo are very, very, like, unbelievably yellow. Yeah. Other than that, it actually kind of looks cool with the background. I'm going to tap effects and bring up the dehaze a little, bring down the dehaze a little. It's just nice to kind of see what options you have. I'm going to go back over to the color, and instead of that kind of greenish hint of hue in the background, I'm going to change that hint of green to more magenta. There we go. That's pretty good. Okay, before and after. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Okay. So I said that I didn't like the amount of saturation in the front of these leaves up here. So I'm going to do a brush, mask down here, brush on here, tap on color, and just bring the saturation down a little bit on just that front area. So I'm not doing it to the entire photo, just this front area like that. There we go. Okay, I like it. Before, after, pretty good. Maybe one thing I'll do is go to this detail and go to sharpening. I can tell this is a little over sharpened, so we're just going to reduce that down to 0. We sharpened in the original edit that we did. So let's see. I'm going to go to save, and I'm going to save copy to device. Perfect. And now we're going to go over to my photo gallery over here, open up that photo that we just saved. And we're going to do the final edit on it. So tap the arrow in the bottom left corner to share, then edit in Lightroom. So that'll bring this photo in. And I'm going to tap the presets button and tap whiskers. Aww, girlies. Okay, so bottom right corner. The only thing I'll say is they kind of blend in to their surroundings. So I'm going to tap on the masking. I'm going to tap on the plus sign. I'm going to tap on select background. And I'm going to go to light. And I'm going to take the exposure down and see if that helps. Yeah. So remember earlier I said you want your subject to be the brightest thing in the photo where the eye goes. So sometimes that means turning down the exposure of the background. So I think that helped a lot. I'm going to hit check mark. I'm going to tap the masks again, tap the plus sign, select subject, select the girls. They're a little too contrasty, a little too sharp for me. Just a little bit. Just going to bring that clarity down a little bit, which is under the effects tab right here. So to clarity down, you could also maybe bring texture down just a little bit. Not too much because you do want that texture in the fur. Sometimes I end up adding texture in clarity. Just kind of depends on the photo. But yeah, I think this looks really good. It's a great photo of the girls. I'm going to go ahead and send it to you now. Last thing I'll do is tap the share button in the top right corner and save a copy to my device. And there we go. Boom. You are all set, Miss Katie.